favoring the sell side in ES. And now it may sound like I'm going to go mute, but I'm just being quiet because I have to focus now. When I speak a lot, I'm not able to focus. I'll just say what I'm thinking that's important in the market. I'm not going to teach much. I'm going to say what I think, and I think it's going for sell side. Yes, sell side first here. And now what I'm expecting is this fair value gap to stay open and just ram down. Just go for it. Boom. That's how we tag it. That's it. That's what you were expecting. I hope you guys can hear me. If you can still hear me, can anyone say yes in the chat? Thank you. That's what I said. See how fast that move comes. When it has to go for liquidity, it moves like I didn't do that properly. My hands are sweaty. That came out proper. Why does it go so fast? Because it does not want to allow the retail traders to get out with a market order before their stop loss gets hit. And why does the algorithm does not want to allow retailers to get out with a market order before their stop loss? Because say if they got out here versus they got out here with this sudden drop, this is more profitable for smart money because they get the difference between eating the sell order here versus eating the sell order here. This difference, if the trade is reversing on you, if the trade is approaching your stop loss, you would go, you would get out of it with a market order. That's what we do. That's what even I do. We all do that. So when the algorithm is going to hunt for the stop losses, it will do it abruptly. And that's actually a good thing because that is the basis of a low resistance liquidity run. Whenever there's a low resistance liquidity run, the algorithm is running for something. It's running and it has limited time. Can we say a trade here? Yes, we can. Yes, we can see a trade here. If you want to be impulsive and just chase the market and not not be profitable, we can see a trade here. Now we're observing how price reacts after it takes out the sell side liquidity. Now I'm not going to toggle through the charts on this screen. I have another monitor that I will toggle through if I want to, because I'll say it out loud, whatever I'm observing on the higher time frame charts. What we're doing today is we're observing price and watching how it delivers. Watching is very important because that's how you get confidence when you're actually doing it because you've seen it so many times. I hope this live stream today is beneficial in your learning. NASDAQ went to the consequent encroachment of the daily BC that we outlined on the daily chart when ES dropped for the sell side liquidity, as we outlined. Now, when sell side has been delivered, this retracement, sell side, I mean, liquidity, liquidity above old highs and old lows, these are the most premium and discount arrays. I mean, forget order blocks, forget all the PD arrays that you've learned. What I'm trying to say here is you can expect a retracement after a liquidity has been hit. That's why we take partials with liquidity and enter after the retracement. Enter again after the retracement. I'm not saying it's just a retracement, it can go higher. I'm saying is even if it moves lower, this retracement is acceptable. If you would direct, I'll just do it myself here. What I talked about dollar on the 15 minutes. I said I would not like to see this fair value gap. If it's supposed to go lower, I would use I said if it's supposed to go lower, and I said it in I have a recording with it. I'm fumbling with my words, but I would use this fair value gap to go. I would use this fair value gap as resistance if it's supposed to go lower, and I don't want to see it move above this fair value gap because if it moves above this fair value gap and it closes here, it retraces down and acts as a support. And I outlined all the factors why I would look at it as resistance or support, why this was the important fair value gap. What I'm trying to say here is why I thought this was an important fair value gap, and now you can easily see it, why I was looking at this fair value gap. Because it moved above it, retraced, acted as support, and moved higher. It's liquidity. Since we've taken out this high, I don't think we've taken out this high for liquidity purposes. I think we've taken out this high to go for our objective here. So my bias turns bearish for dollar. So what does it mean for equities? Can someone say it in the chat? If my bias turns bullish, sorry, if my bias turns bullish for dollar, what does it mean for equities? Correct. Absolutely. Now, if my bias is bullish for dollar, we have to outline all the support levels that it can find support with. So, in my opinion, if you go to the daily chart here again, we are above this daily fair value gap. So, I will look for it to support price, this daily fair value gap. What levels? The high, and preferably, I would not like to see it violate the consequent encroachment. We'll roughly eyeball the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap. I would not like to see it come down again to these levels. It can also find support with the low of this daily fair value gap, but I think it should move higher up here. This. Also, we have this bullish breaker here. Where is the bullish breaker? It starts from around here till here. Series of consequent up close candles. Why is this a bullish breaker? Because it failed as a bearish pullback. How perfectly it lines up with the low of this daily fair value gap. So I don't think we need this here because it already lines up with this daily level. Now, preferably, if you ask me, what I would prefer is this fair value gap to support price. That's what I would prefer. Why? The small one here. Why? Because we also have this inversion fair value gap here that will invert for support. It's inside of this. We also have this high of the daily fair value gap that we're already looking for support. That's why. Let's go back to the candle. There's no problem with the sound. I'm just quite thinking. You can see dollar as we outlined. I just looked up. It dipped into it and is finding support there. This is what you should aspire to do. Learn how to read price like this. See, like the outline. Kind of an SMT divergence forming right now between S&P and Nasdaq. Nasdaq is failing to move higher and it's willing to move lower right here. And if it does move lower, what's the next objective? The daily level, the busy low. This is the S&P divergence that I'm talking about. Also, this one and this one. Now, if it does move lower, I will use this bearish candle right here as the bearish breaker before it even forms. And targeting this sell side liquidity. The Zoom meeting is going to get over right now. I'm going to close it and we'll go for the live again on Discord because it is much easier to connect. Although Zoom is better than Discord, but I'm tired of connecting there.